Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. As you can see, we finally got a hold of some of these Wave 2 Dino Rivals Attack Pack figures, and the very first one that I want to look at, which there are honestly only two new ones currently, but the first one I want to look at is one that I was really excited for and I've been anticipating for quite a little while now, and it is the Coelurus, and it really looks pretty darn nice through this packaging. I really like the paint scheme. I think the paint scheme overall is so flashy, but so nice and potentially realistic. I would actually really like to see a more realistically painted version with this paint scheme because it's really nice. It really is. It's beautifully attractive, I will say. It's definitely appealing to the eye. But regardless, let's take a look at the box here on the back. Now we get an image of all of these Dino Rival Attack Pack figures. You've got the Protoceratops, Delta, the Dracorex, Coelurus, and the new Herrerasaurus, which we will be looking at here very soon. So you've got all of those there on the back. You can see there is a trading card included in there, so let's pop this sucker open, grab that card, and take a look at the Coelurus. So there is the Coelurus itself. Potentially one of the smallest Attack Pack figures that we have gotten at all, but it is a fairly small dinosaur in general, so it's understandable that it would be so small. As far as the card goes, pretty cool artwork that we've got there of the Coelurus, again some of its stats, and then on the back Dino Rivals, Jurassic World, that typical thing. But this figure itself really is quite nice looking from a distance, but the only way to really tell is to get up close and personal, so let's do that now. So taking a look at the head sculpt, there is some insanely nice sculpting of the skin detail of the head. Really beautifully done. You can see the very nice sculpted nostrils, and the detail all around the eye is really nice. I'm honestly very impressed with that. The eye isn't perfectly painted, but what's new, Mattel? It's not bad, but it's not perfectly placed. This one's much better, actually. It looks really quite nice on this side. Honestly, I kind of would have preferred they didn't include the pupil area. I would have liked it if they just made the eye just a pure black, because they did that same thing that they do or have done with a few other figures where the pupil of the eye is actually just the same coloration as the rest of the head. And I don't really like that. I think it kind of gives them always like an alien type of a look. But, I mean, it doesn't look terrible. I just would have preferred the entire eye just be a pure black. I think it would have looked better. There is a nice gloss on the eye, though, that helps it shine and look very real and very alive. The jaw is articulated, and it works quite nicely. You can see the tongue is just a pinkish coloration, but has a pretty nice gloss to it. The teeth appear to be painted pretty nicely. There's no other coloration on the inside of the mouth. It's all just the same white that is on the jaw. Even the teeth on the top look pretty good. So the teeth are not sloppily painted, they are painted quite nicely, and they're like an off-white, almost a yellowish type color, so it's a much more realistic type of a coloration compared to a pure white. As we start to run down the neck, you can see some very nice large scaling going on. We come down here into the neck, it turns into a very small, much finer scaling. It's got this beautiful blue that starts to overtake the red, but the red does stay quite present, just it's kind of underneath the blue. And then you've got this white underbelly here to the lower half of the animal. Very nice sculpt work in the neck and throat area. Kind of got some hanging skin here, and a few skin creases and skin folds up here in the throat. And you've got some beautiful muscle tone here in the arm, coming out to the very nicely sculpted hands. Of course, the nails are not painted. Again, nothing new with Mattel. You can see there are some speckles here throughout the body though, just giving it some alternate variation of color. I think the blue and the red really complement each other and makes this thing so striking but so realistic looking, and the paint is all applied very naturally. It doesn't look like paint, it looks like body color, which was an issue on a few dinosaurs, like I think the Sinoceratops, aka Pachyrhinosaurus, kind of had an issue where the paint looked more so like paint than body color, but this one doesn't have that at all, which is a good thing that Mattel can go ahead and make some of these figures with such a natural type of a look to them. Beautiful detailing as far as the scaling goes in the stomach and the back area. And then we come over here, some very nice musculature here in the thigh. Beautiful calf muscles there. Coming down to the feet. The feet look great as well. Once again, no paint on the nails, but they do look really nice regardless. And those speckles are really honestly everywhere on this figure. You see the dew claw is sculpted and included into the foot as well. You come up here into the tail, and you run the length of the tail, and it's honestly that same scaling that is everywhere else. It really runs the entire length of the body out to that nice curved tail. This side looks just as nice as the opposing side. The hands, I kind of feel like they're in the position to maybe grab a small mammal or something as it's running up and trying to grab it. It's just kind of the feeling I get from the hands. Beautiful sculpt work here on the detailing of the neck. Once again, you get those much bigger scales up here that turn into this fine scaling in the neck. And then you run out the length of the body into the back area. You see a few creases in the skin here in the stomach. You can even see the scaling here running down into the arms a little bit, and that very nice muscle tone that extends out into the arms. Then down here into the hands. Very nicely sculpted. Once again, no nails. Being painted. You can kind of get an idea, honestly, actually, of the skin here having a crease pulling a little bit, or at least it looks that way, with the leg being pushed back a little bit. I don't recall seeing that over here on this side. Oh, there, it's there. It's just behind the leg because this leg is pushed up, which is actually a really cool touch. I really quite like that, because over here you don't see the skin being pulled unless you pull the leg back. Same deal over here. That's actually a really, really cool idea on the part of Mattel. And then you've got nice musculature here again in the thigh. Very nice musculature in the calf as well. Beautifully sculpted and painted feet. It's all just that solid white, but there are those speckles, honestly, everywhere throughout the whole body. They're just all over the place. You've got that nice red right here in the front of the thigh. Looks very nice, very naturally applied. It kind of gradually changes to that white. Really looks like it transitions in a very beautiful, natural way. And then you've kind of got this blue that just kind of starts to become pretty splotchy and stripy here at the end, and then it runs about halfway through the tail. And then the only coloration out here is the white of the tail, but you've also got those crazy speckles that are all over the place throughout. And I really quite like the entire paint scheme of it and the overall appearance of this figure. It's definitely a very nice Attack Pack figure. As far as articulation goes, it's all the typical Attack Pack articulation. You've got articulation in the jaw, in the arms, which the arms are a little bit flexible, and then the legs are also articulated, and the tail is on a swivel, swivels very nicely. So there's a decent bit of articulation, but it's not over the top articulated like a lot of Mattel figures are. As far as a size goes, from the tail to the head, you're looking at about 6.5 inches or about 16.5 centimeters. And for a height, a little under 3 inches or about 7 centimeters, maybe 7.5. For a size comparison, there is the Papo T-Rex, who completely dwarfs that tiny little Coelurus there. Again, not to scale with each other, but giving you a pretty good idea of how small that Coelurus is. Being an Attack Pack, it's a fairly small figure, much smaller than a lot of the Jurassic World line, but again, they are generally small dinosaurs, so it makes sense. Also, in case anyone is interested, there is the Jurassic Facts app code in case anybody wants it. So this is quite a cool figure. I honestly really quite like it. The Coelurus is in a beautiful stance. It really does look very nice. I like the overall appearance of it. The paint applied is done in a very natural way. The sculpt overall is really nice as well. The feet don't appear to be too oversized. They're definitely larger, but it's not distractingly large like some figures, like the Velociraptors. So that's also a plus. Again, I'm not a big fan of the way the eye is painted, but it doesn't look terrible on this figure, even having the pupil be the same color as the rest of the head. And the detailing and sculpt, really, as far as the fine details go, is just beautiful. Mattel always impresses me as far as the very small, minute details that they can include in their figures, so that is impressive, as they always are. So if you do want to find this figure, your best bet is to start checking out your local Walmarts, because it is definitely not online for sale quite yet. But I really had a pretty easy time finding this. Once I found out they were starting to hit stores, I looked about 2 Walmarts and I spotted this guy that quick. And I got a hold of both him and the Herrerasaurus, so they should be fairly common very soon if they are not quite at your Walmart yet. Just keep checking. You should have no problem finding one. If they happen to pop up on Walmart.com, I will try to update the description to include a link to the Coelurus on there, but as of right now, they are not on there. So again, check your local Walmart, and happy hunting, guys. Definitely a very cool figure. I recommend it for sure. And please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.